Hey folks, happy holidays. This is Brian. We got to play Elderath tonight, earlier tonight, last night, not yet this morning. Oh, let's see. A little bit of retcon. So after we got into the room that was broken into um, with the witch's stuff, it was obvious that there's some kind of like the dragon tail like took this door out kind of thing. So we were explained to us. And when we get outside, there's actually a dragon skin there, like a molting or a husk. It's about a 4 hex size dragon on the ground. 2 horses worth of material. But we are wiped out. And Lucy and her family do not want to stay here. Neither does the dwarf. So the dwarf takes Lucy and her family back to the villa, and we kind of rest here, burn up the bodies, try and clean ourselves up and take care of ourselves. And then we make a couple of travois to drag the dragon skin back with us to the villa. When we get there, the dwarf is not there. He had left. He was angry about something. And the portable smelter that he had in the smithy area is missing as well. But everything else seems to be there. So just because, okay, what do you do next? What do you do next? And one of the things brought was, Wes's assassination attempts. Assassination attempts on Wes. Excuse me. Wes's family has many enemies. There are any number of issues that we could pull on to who could be behind these assassination attempts. Plus, there's all the unknown issues that are happening, in and from Zig right now. I talked a little bit about the circles of Stalth. Oh, but when we were on the islands going through the whole initiation process, the circles of Stalth were never actually words that were used. That was brought up to our attention, which reminds me, live plays in the description, and there is a ton of us players talking anachronistically, using modern metaphors to describe our medieval understanding of things happening, right? So, and there's a lot of that. So you want to just fast forward through a bunch of that. Anyway, so we decided, okay, let's go to Hamlet. So we go to Hamlet to do some downtime, and then the plan is to head back over to the islands. So we spent a week recuperating, resting, and getting our check marks taken care of. I really wanted that power check, but I missed it. Okay, so then we get in the boat and travel to the islands. I turn the ship back over to the people there for their continued research, and then tell them we're going to head over to this campsite to, de-stress, and then set up a remote way to interact with the society in order to take care of our civic responsibilities. There's a lot of clarification on what this 20%, what we can actually learn here at the mentalism hub in the cave down the crater or down the rift from the campsite. And so we got 20 percentiles that we can apply to anything we want, but only 20 percentiles worth. So, right? Excuse me. And some of us had previously understood we could do anything we wanted with these 20 percentile blocks. It's just, how long do we want to spend here doing that? And Raymond's spending his 20% on mentalism training, which is going to take a full 5 weeks to do. Wes and Runt are simply going to learn one list up to the 20%. That's going to take us like 0.8 weeks. So that leaves a lot of other time for training. Wes is going to spend that using some of his spell books to increase his spell casting capabilities with some of his spell lists. He's using the books as instructors to do his training. Right? But while we're doing our stuff here, both Runt and Wes have visions of the next learning post we need to go to. Wes then has an even further vision on the symbol we've been focusing in our head, that it's a piece of a larger construct, right? But this larger construct actually is kind of shaped like an eye. And in fact, on the door to the temple area down here is this construct. This is the construct. This is the eye. It's the whole big thing kind of deal. But anyway, the next train facility is in the mines at Karst, which is actually where we were Karst talking about. Let's just hit the mines and take care of the eye of the circle of Stall thing there. But yeah, we did that. But we're going to go back. Okay, so. Okay. Runt then has a vision that he fumbled on his thing with. So he got this bad vision kind of deal, right? So he goes unconscious. He has a vision of, these are overlords that are opening dimensions into places they shouldn't. And so there's a schism within the people, some saying that we should not be doing this kind of stuff. And they're saying, we got to take care of all the power we can. So this results in the galactic conflict, right? That ends up with the overthrow of those who are reckless and want to open up other dimensions. In the aftermath of the whole thing, there's some stability in the universe, but these unleashed entities for these other dimensions are in the universe, right? That includes the inky black stuff that we see and the thing that was controlling the insect creature, right? These entities are still here in the universe. Post the collapse of things, there have been several uprisings and collapsing of cultures, all caused by these released forces, right? There's a small group of survivors from the cataclysm. They're setting in motion individuals who could fight back against these forces. And that Runt and those around him are all part of this group of survivors. And that there are mechanisms that can be used to set, at the right place, the right time, that can be used to counter the shadow forces, right? They're holding the galaxy back. And there are training facilities, but these were developed by the bad guys to find people that they could make use of, train up, and then harvest their power. And Runt kind of shares that with us, I believe. And Runt says, hey, remember back at one point we had wondered why Elderath was kind of stunted or being held back and not advancing. He thinks that our side did that on purpose, and that we as Eternal Warriors are tasked with doing the work that we were set out on these things out here. So that if we come across that are trying to stop essentially us, there are things out here trying to stop us and essentially society from forming and getting to the point they can then challenge the shadow forces, right? And he's wondering maybe, Elderath is set the way it is in order to not draw attention to it. Because as societies grow, the shadow forces, gets their attention and try to tear it down. And there are signs here of the enemy that we have missed. We should probably go back and backtrack on those things. Now, the only way to get out of the eternal conflict is to win. That's Runt's assumption. If we don't kill them, the shadow forces, then we will be doing the circulation of things for all eternity. We'll find each other again and again and again and go through this forever. So West Side is going to go commune with Maliki. We have a division on what we should do next. Any guidance is appreciated. He says that the choice over options is the end of the path we have not taken. And then West says, okay, the darkness has taught us here these powers. Is that safe for us to continue with those teachings? It says, hey, a classroom is a classroom. Who may be standing at the door, may be light or dark or gray. So West shares that with them, with the rest of the party. After these 5 weeks of training, we then go ahead and teleport to Karst, because there is, in fact, in Karst, one of the island's teleporters. And we all head over to the Mages Guild to investigate, what's happening at the mine. Still nothing back from Thurmond, although all of his stuff has been boxed up and everybody's bidding for his office space. There's a lot of politics here at the guild. So Wes is speaking of the guild master and asks about the current going-ons at the mines. That I would like to investigate the circle with my team. He asks, hey, do you need any resources in the guild? The only thing we need is transportation. He says, okay, I'll go ahead and write up a writ for your permission. It may take a couple days to acquire transportation, but get back with me and we'll have you all set up. So after that, we go make a call on the high priestess. Tells us more about the underground temple. It's even larger grounds recovering. They've got large sections of seabed been covered. It's quite a garden now. 3 days later, there's a supply train heading up to the mine. There's a guild coach for us to travel in. We travel along. We have an encounter where we spy some goblins following us on wolf rider goblins. Further on, we actually run into an ambush with goblins and other creatures, so that's where we ended the session for the night. There's a little bit more discussion of things going on before I shut off the recording. Be that as it may. After recording shut off, we did some more discussion and stuff, and there's some further digging into Maliki's vision on choice over options at the end of the path not taken. And we started talking about, okay, what paths did we not take? There's lots of open ends. But it turns out that the one path we didn't even start on dealt with Samantha. We were watching recordings on the far horizon of Samantha coming on the shuttle back to the far horizon, sitting down in front of the engine bay, meditating. Then she got up and left. We didn't follow that. Thankfully, we've got all the recordings on the spy scope, so we take a look while we're on the trek out to the mines. What's going on with that, and we find that she is following a path in the pinnace, along the path that the far horizons took from where it entered the system to where it ended up at. And there was discussion, okay, how did we get here? We got here going through a gate that was destroyed when we went through it. The far horizon, we know, was going through a gate that was destroyed as it was coming through and ended up here. So we're thinking maybe that's the path that we didn't take. We just didn't follow up on where Samantha went at all. And so maybe that's what we need to do. But anyway, we're here. We're going to go to the mine, try to enter the circle of Stolf, and see what we can find there. Happy gaming.